In this video, I'll be showing you how to use Outlook Contact Management MCP Server. So this is one of the MCP server that is available in Microsoft Copilot Studio, which you can utilize to perform contact management activities. Now, it basically manages the contact for your Office 365 account. So as you see in the screen, I'm in Copilot Studio interface. I've added a tool, selected model context protocol, and I have an option to select contact management MCP server. Now, contact management MCP server, there are different tools which are available like GetContactFolders, GetContact, CreateContact, UpdateContact, ListContacts from a contact folder. Now, the use case for this particular contact management MCP server is basically if you want to iterate through your contact, if you want to identify contact and send some information to your contact. So, like you can merge Outlook Contact Management with the Mail Management MCP server. So, the first thing is like you pick up the contact, you identify the contact within your contact list or contact folder, and send an email to that specific contact. So you can even perform that operation. Now this will be useful if you are managing some personal diaries, or if you're managing a list of customers within your contacts, or maybe a high profile customer which you want to personally send out an email invitation or event note, or there can be other many use cases which you can think of. It's all about iterating through the contact, identifying the contact, and then um, getting the list from the contact folders. As I mentioned to you, you can merge it with other Dataverse MCP tool to perform a wider operation. So these are the tools. Get contact folders, so it will give you the contact folders. Get contact, get a contact, create contact, create a contact in a contact folder, update the contact, update a contact in a contact folder, and list the contacts from a contact folder. So the from a configuration side, there's nothing much. You just need to specify the name or edit the name and specify the connection. Now I did some example like getting the contact, getting the contact folder, updating the contact, and listing the contact folder, and listing contacts from a contact folder. And I did some experimentation just to break the system and see how does it responds. So I'll show you an example like what I did. So first navigate to Copilot Studio. So copilotstudio.microsoft.com or copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com. Create an agent. I already have created an agent over here. So if you see, if I navigate to the tools, I have a list of all the MCP servers. Now I've already installed Contact Management MCP Server, but let's go ahead and install or create a new one. So you click on Add a Tool, navigate to Model Context Protocol, and then from here you have an option for Office 365 Outlook like Email Management MCP Server, Meeting Management MCP Server, and Contact Management MCP Server. So as this indicate, this MCP server manages the contact. So you click on that and it will establish that connection. You have an option to connect. From here, you can create a new connection or select an existing connection. Once done, add to agent or add and configure. Let's add and configure. Now you have an option to change the name for that contact management MCP server. As I already have contact management MCP server in my system, it will name the new MCP server as contact management MCP server 1. Now I can name it anything, so I'll call it as July 2025, and I have an option again to change the connection or create a new connection. It will show you that this particular MCP server is available to this specific agent from the list over here. You can add additional details like allow agent to decide dynamically when to use tools. So if you type in a command like list contact folders, so it will the agent will automatically or dynamically decide when to use the tool. So this is that option. Now ask the end user before running. So if I just say ask the end user before running, so if it's like a more secured information, I can mark it as yes, but currently I'll keep it as no. I'll keep everything as default. Authentication, yes, have end users sign in with their own credential, or maybe you have an option to use the tool owner's credential. So tool owner is myself, but if this bot has been published to a specific channel, then you can make use of this functionality. So you can take the context of the end users. And there is a description. You can describe what this does so the user knows why they are being asked to authenticate. For example, please log into this agent. And option to add an input as well, which we are not going to explore now. So tools, these are the list of tools which are currently available. So let's go ahead and explore and use some of the tools. So let me refresh this, and let me, yeah, so I've already created this MCP server over here. Now I have an option to even disable it. I have an option to view the code, so I can view the code from here. I can delete the MCP server, or maybe I can disable the MCP server. So let's disable this MCP server which we have created, because we are going to use the one which I have created previously. So let me show you that. So if I go to tools, I have this contact management MCP server which I created around 19 hours ago, right? And it is turned on. So before we even write in a command, let me first go into Outlook. So this is my Outlook. Now in Outlook, now we are not going to work on the email, but this is the place. So if I go into people over here, so this is basically the contact interface. Now if I click on your contacts, I have Barack Smith, Glenn Maxwell. So let me add a new contact. So let me add this as Jim Beasley, and I'll put this email as jimb at office.com, and I'll put some mobile number. uh, Company is the office, and I'll create this contact. So I've created this contact, Jim Beasley, over here. So this is creation of a contact. Now remember, all the contacts get created in a folder named as a contacts folder. So this is by default, which comes as part of Outlook. Okay. Now you have an option to create another contact folder. Now these are the list of folders which I've already created. So if you want to create a folder, you have an option, just folders, right click, create new folder, or click on create new folder, and I'll create a contact folder. So let me call this contact, say Finland, and I'll create another folder. I'll call it as contact, say Bahrain. So I've created contact folder. Now what we do with the contact folder, so you go into the contact folder and then you add a contact to it. So I'll add a contact. Now here I can go ahead and add a contact. I'll call it as Pam Beasley, Pam B at office.com, and the office. Click on create. So what I've done, I've created a contact folder and I've added a contact within it. Now you have this your contact, it will list down all the contact. Now there is something called as a contact list as well. Now don't get confused with the contact list and the contact folder. So contact folder is separate and contact list is separate. So if you see contact list, what is the contact list? Contact list is basically again grouping of that contact. So if I go ahead and create a contact list, like I have already created three of the contact list over here, I can go ahead, click on edit, and I can add other users over here. So I can just select Adele, I can select Johnny, I can select Diego, click on save, and then this is a contact list. So we are not talking about contact list, we are talking about contact folders in this specific MCP server. Okay, so that's the context. So these are the contacts which I have currently. Let's go ahead and fire up the MCP server for contact management. So here, let me refresh this, and let me go into the topic, or maybe in the two. Okay, let me go into the topic. Launch refresh now. Yep. So show activity map when testing. So let me go into the activity. Yep. Oh, okay, so let's start by typing get recent contact. Now ideally what should happen is, like, it should give you the contact, but it has given me a response as please provide the folder ID from which you want to list the contact. When I say folder ID, means it wants to know from which contact folder do you want the contact. That's, so it has not identified, or maybe it has not taken the default contacts folder as a default contacts folder and tried listing some information from there. So it is not able to identify that. Let's type in another command. So let's first iterate through what are the folders which you have. So get contact folders. Now this should list down all the contact folders which I have, but now it is again asking me, please provide the folder ID from which you want the list of contacts. Okay. So if you get all this kind of like, if you're not able to get this information, I would say again, go back to your contact management MCP server, go into the tools and try to see what exactly is the tool name. So let me just go back to the contact management MCP server, and it says get contact folders, get contact, create contact, update contact. So let me just type in this way, get contact folders. So I will type in the name as it is, get contact folders, and see whether if it triggers that specific topic. I don't think so. So it fails in all this operation. So you see get contact, recent contact, get contact folders, it doesn't work. Let's say list contacts from, let me say contact Europe folder, list contacts from contact Europe folder. So contact Europe folder, I have Glenn Maxwell in it. Now I'm exactly specifying the folder name, so ideally it should give me the response back, and it has given me. So it has given me the contact name. So it says the most recent contacts in the contact Europe folder is this. Okay. Now let me go into the presentation slide, and yeah, if I just type in now, if I make a mistake, so if I say list contacts from, and if I just say oh, let me see if I have anyone. Yeah, contact Bahrain. So list contact from contact Bahrain. Let me see if it identifies it without that double quotes. So I haven't put the double quotes for contact Bahrain, and it has identified it. So for some, it identifies it correctly, but it is not able to create for some. So let's go ahead and create a contact. So let me say if I have contact Finland. Okay. So let me create a contact. So create contact in contact Finland folder, create contact in contact Finland folder with first name as Steve and last name as Smith. And we can put email address, phone, and other things, but let's keep it simple for now. So it says create contact in contact Finland. So could you please provide the home phone number for the contact? So it is now asking me, do you have a home phone number? So let me put some number over here. So let's see whether sometimes it gives you the acknowledgement, sometimes it doesn't give you the acknowledgement. So let's go ahead and see whether in contact Finland, do we have a contact? Yes, it has created this contact. Now, if I go over here, you might see some observation. So edit the contact. Now, Steve is the first name. Yes, it has identified. Home phone number. Let's see, it has taken that home phone number. And I just said that last name as Smith. Now, last name, it has completely missed. So it is not perfect. It is still trying to, like get hold of, that specific record or create a record set. But sometimes it creates, sometimes it doesn't. I created the other day. It worked perfectly fine. It created everything. But for some records where I asked to create a list contact from a specific group which existed, it didn't give me the response, but now it has given me correctly. Some of the things like get recent contacts, it has not given me the response. So let me again say get recent contact from contact Finland folder. and it has given me correctly this time. So this is the same command which I executed over here. So if you see get recent contact, but it asks for the contact folder. Then I was not able to specify the contact folder, but I said list contacts from contact hero folder. Now it has given me that response correctly. So that's it, folks. This is how you basically use the contact management MCP server. Now remember that this is not a perfect solution as of now, but if you get the concept that with the help of the MCP server, you will be able to query a service. So Office 365 is a service. Office 365 has people and contact in it. And then from there, without even writing a Power Automate flow or a tool, you are just utilizing the MCP server's tools to perform an operation in a third party service. Like we created a contact, we created a we updated we haven't updated a contact, but we have listed a contact from the contact folder. So we can even get a contact. Now we can even update a contact from contact folder. So let me say update contact from um, let me pick up some another contact folder. So let me go to contact Europe. Okay, update contact from contact from folder contact Europe with for Glenn Maxwell, and then I will say update phone number with 0000. So update contact from folder contact Euro for Glenn Maxwell. Update phone number with 000. Let me see if it able to find that. I know it's a bit tricky in terms of the prompt which I typed in, but I think it has identified it correctly. It says the contact in the contact Euro folder has been successfully updated with a new phone number. Now, if you see over here, this is the existing phone number. Let me go back again, go into the record. Maybe let me refresh it again. Contact Europe, and I've gone into this particular contact, and as you see it has updated the home phone number correctly. Now we just said phone number, so it has picked up home phone number and not the mobile. So you need to explicitly specify if you want to update the mobile number, but at the end of the day it has successfully updated it. So that's it, folks. This is all about contact management MCP server in Microsoft Copilot Studio. Thanks for watching.